Yes, the game you're seeing on your screen right now took me about 5 years to complete. How? Well, buckle up, kiddo, because you're gonna be here for a while. Huh? Okay, maybe not for that long, but you know, you're still gonna like. Alright, so for this, you first gotta know the backstory of the game. It all started back in 2018, I think. Back then I was a very stupid kid that liked video games like any other kid around my age would. I wanted to be a game developer, so I downloaded Unity, watched a couple tutorials, and made some stupid games, yada yada yada. And then one day, I was so bored that I've decided to make a game to test out my skills as a developer, and also to cure my boredom at the time. And the end result was something like this. Yeah, I know, it's not very pleasant, like, at all, but that was the best I could do at the time, so don't judge me. Well, anyways, around a year later, I've got a sudden urge to remake this monstrosity I've created a year back. But this time, it was going to be different. This time, it was going to be polished. But how was I going to do that? I sucked at drawing at the time, and I didn't know how to make music, like, at all. Well, luckily, my great friend Quigan came in clutch for that. I asked him if he could do the artwork and sprites for the game, and thankfully he agreed, so that was good. And now that the art aspect of the game was guaranteed, it was time to think about the gameplay. I wanted this game to be very different from the first game, in every other way possible, since it was going to be the definitive polished edition of the game after all. So at first, I thought about changing up the way you move the character. As you can see, at first, I thought about our character being in a cannon where we, as the player, would steer and shoot our little stickman guy right here towards the zombies. This idea would eventually evolve into the throwing the stickman around mechanic, mainly because I thought it was more fun that way. Maybe I'll revisit the idea as a challenge map in the future? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, I've added the mechanic, and sure enough, it was pretty fun. But the thing is that despite it being fun to see the stickman get thrown around and destroy the zombies, it was actually really hard to control where the stickman was gonna go. So, just like the original game, I've decided to add the WASD mod, and I'd say that was good enough of a fix. After that was done, me and Quigan started working on the main game, like the maps and the other stuff. One interesting thing to note is that during this time, Friday Night Funkin had a very huge hype surrounding it. And I was, and I still am, pretty obsessed with it. I even donated to Kickstarter back then, that's how obsessed I was with this game. Now you might ask, okay, yeah, well, what does it have to do with Ragdoll Apocalypse 2? Well, you see, dear viewer, I was obsessed to the point of asking Ninja Muffin 99, the programmer of FNF, if I could add boyfriend to the game. I thought he was gonna ignore my messages since I sent it through the Twitter DMs, but to my surprise, he actually gave me permission. As you might imagine, I was extremely shocked and happy about it. So shout out to Ninja Muffin for letting me add him to the game. I mean, add boyfriend to the game. I hope the rest of the crew doesn't change their mind and sue me in the future. Well, other than that, there's nothing else to put here, so I'll just show you guys some development pictures and videos. At this point, it's been 3 to 4 years since I started the project, and I was still working on it. The feature creep was definitely on me, and it led me to delay it more times than I like to admit. Despite the amount of content I was planning to add, it never felt good enough for me. I always felt like the game needed more stuff, and to be honest, I still kinda do. But at this point, I think it's better to release it than to endlessly add stuff onto a 3-year-old code. Also during this time, because of the sheer amount of stuff that I wanted to add to the game, and also me working on the project 24/7, led me to burnout and not want to work on the project or do game development in general, like at all. So I just kinda sat around and played video games all day instead of doing something productive like actually working on the game. But that doesn't mean that I never touched the project at all during this time. I did some bug fixes here and there, but I didn't really do some big stuff like adding a new feature. Even if I did, I would have probably done it by pushing myself to do it. So overall, it wasn't really a productive time, to say the least. Here are some development images or videos that I found around that time. And finally, after a year or two of procrastination, I finally decided to actually finish the game instead of ignoring it all the time. Now, there were a couple of main reasons for that. For starters, it was like an obstacle or a chore for me and for my other projects. I felt like I could never start or work on other projects just because of this game's mere existence. And as for the second reason, right now, another project of mine needs more of my attention than this game does. You guys will hear about this project of mine pretty soon. So make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell and punch that like button or something, I don't know. I always wanted to release this game with some sort of like animated trailer, but I guess I can't really do that anymore because I want to get this game out as soon as possible. I'll be using this video as a sort of trailer anyway, so I suppose it doesn't really matter. Also, out of topic, but I never thought about the game's genre. I always thought it was an arcade type game while working on it, but nowadays I'm starting to think it's actually leans more towards like hyper casual than anything. Does that mean that it can be used as a YouTube short split screen game type thing? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below because I'm genuinely curious now. Well, anyways, that's enough from me now, I guess. I don't have anything else to talk about, so I'll just hop off instead. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider subscribing. I really need it. Until then, I'll catch you later. Bye!